Hello, and if you are interested in the law of attraction, if you're a new student to the law of attraction, if you're already intermediate, if you're far advanced into the law of attraction teachings and how you can actually create your life deliberately and in an empowered way, you're going to enjoy our conversation because that's exactly what we'll be covering on this interview. So first, welcome. I'm Isabel Martins from healthandnaturallife.com, and here with me today, my guest is Keeley Nicholls, and she's a passionate enthusiast and lifelong student of the law of attraction and how you can create your life in a deliberate and empowered way. And you're going to be watching our interview for the Empower You Energy Healing and Manifesting series, and we're going to get right into it. So first, thank you, of course, Keeley, for being here and for sharing your knowledge, your path, your experience with this subject that so many of us are really passionate about creating our lives deliberately. So just first, welcome. Second, go for it.
Thank you for having me here. Hello.
Yeah, so I was just going to say, second, I'm going to just give it the microphone, so to speak. How did you come to find the law of attraction and a path of personal development? Because usually people have a story that kind of leads us there. It's not because we're happy and shiny that we discover usually personal development. It's because something happens that we kind of don't really enjoy. What was your path toward this?
I really stumbled into it. It started for me around early 2015, where I became consciously aware of it. I was leaving my job of 13 years and joining a company that was much more aligned with my interests. At the same time, in making that leap, I also made the leap in joining an MLM company and starting my own business as well, because that year I was getting married. I wanted to put some more funds towards it, so I saw an opportunity and I thought, fantastic. And even though that business it wasn't aligned with me in the long term, what it brought me to was traction marketing. It was all about, attraction marketing, sharing your passion, sharing your appreciation. And in researching that, traction marketing very much came across the law of attraction and, consciously creating your life, asking, allowing, receiving, which all seemed very easy and simple. And how could it possibly be this easy and this simple? Can we have control over our own lives, or do we just go through life the way it's laid out for us? We go to school, we get married, we get a job, that kind of thing, following the set program for ourselves. And all of a sudden this world opened up to me in that actually we can create for ourselves, and have been doing since the moment that we were born. We just was not aware of it. So from that, I realised that I had been creating. I started to look back and realise how much I'd created for myself. So basically the rules of the law of attraction is very, very simple. You ask and it is given. I'm very, very influenced by the teachings of Abraham Hicks, so you'll probably start to hear a lot of that language in my story. I know that you're an enthusiast as well. So I've lost my train of thought now. Sorry, I do that all the time.
No, but you said something fascinating before. I never heard of attraction marketing. I didn't even know that people do that. So that was an interesting way to get there.
Yeah, absolutely. I started to think about how I'd actually created things in my own life. So I started to look for evidence. And what I realised was in the job that I just manifested for myself, I'd remembered a year previous where I was in a management position at my old firm, and I was sick and had so much to do that I took the worked from home that day rather than sped my germs. I remember working from home, and I had a very, very clear decision. I would love to work from home. I really remember that instant of that moment of clarity, and went back to work, asked about it. It wasn't feasible, so I never gave it another thought. few months down the line, another position came up within the same firm, which then actually would allow me to work from home a few days a week. So fantastic. But then 6 months later, I really wasn't happy with that job at all. And this new job where I'm presently came along, this opportunity, and it was entirely working from home. So I was able to, you know, put the pieces together where I'd made an intention, I'd not given it any thought, so therefore I had no resistance to it, and therefore I'd manifested a job which was much more aligned with my interests and entirely working from home. So, and that was when I was not consciously aware of it. So if you can manifest things like that when you are not aware of the law of attraction, what can you do when you are consciously aware of it and you are consciously, deliberately creating your reality? And, you know, since then I've been able to manifest, you know, lots of different things. But I think, to go back a few steps, I think last year I set off with a blog which was called Body Beautiful Mindset, and I set out with the intention to deal with my body issues and lose weight. And as I started writing and started exploring the law of attraction as well alongside it a lot more, my writing became, my journey became a lot deeper in my learning and study of the law of attraction, and then trying to apply it to myself and realizing actually the first step in the law of attraction in creating not just the law of attraction, in creating the life that you desire and are happy with, is really starting with yourself and starting with loving yourself, appreciating yourself. And I had a huge hurdle to get over with in that. And the journey, instead of became about losing weight, became about loving myself more, accepting myself exactly the way I am. I don't have the body that I still would love to have, but I absolutely love and appreciate the way it is right now. No conditions on that. And I began to see that journey with my body and my self-image as a metaphor for life and a metaphor for how we can use the law of attraction, in that it's not really about always not being happy until you have the next thing, until I get to this size, until I've had that job, until I've had this house. It's about really appreciation in the now, and loving your life the way it is now. Sure, there are always things that you're going to change, that you want to change, and that is actually the natural order of things. That is what we're here to do. We're here to expand and to grow. But it's in our issues and our desires, in our contrasts as well, the things that don't feel so good about us, that about our lives, in which we have the most expansion. So from having that blog to wanting to learn how to lose weight, how to deal with all those issues to losing weight, it brought me to something much, much, much greater that I could apply across my entire life. So that blog, Body Beautiful Mindset, I left that last year because I no longer felt aligned with it. It taught me everything that I had needed to learn from it, and the time was right to let that go, to move on to deeper things. So, you know, since then, I've joined the Empowered Love program with yourself and Daniel, and you know, for a while I was coasting in that group, really. And when I decided, you know, I either leave the group or I commit to doing it. So give it a try. What have you got to lose? And since then, my life has grown and grown and grown, because the Empowered Love program represents to me is my commitment to me. It's my commitment to creating the life that I desire. And what I've found is when you set a desire, when you realize that you desire something, all sorts of resistance starts coming up. You know, I've found that there's two ways to really manifest whatever you desire. You can either, like I've shown before in manifesting the job I desired, was that you can set the desire and just let go, not even give it another moment's attention, and just get busy getting happy elsewhere. Or you can really visualize your desire, really attune yourself to the energy of it. And, you know, this is where the visualization and the energy healing really, really comes into play, is that I found that when I sit and visualize a desire, I get really into the energy of it. So I feel what it'd be like. I feel the emotions. I sense it. What would it taste like? What would it smell like? You know, all of those kind of things. And in doing that, all kinds of other resistance starts to show itself. And it's kind of you in a guidance showing you, leading you the way as to what you need to heal, what you need to clear in order to get to that desire, to get in alignment into the energy of that desire. Because it really is the dominant and consistent thoughts and feelings that we have, and deep subconscious beliefs we have about things that really dictate whether we're going to receive our desires. So with the energy healing, you're able to fully explore in a safe environment what that block is, and you know, be able to release it and heal it. And it really is a simple process. I think we make life so hard for ourselves, always thinking that it must be harder than that. You know, if it's this big block that's been troubling you, it's got to be so hard to release it. And what I've learned is it really, really isn't. You just have to set your intention to release it and follow what comes up. Just let it flow naturally. So, you know, today I'm at the place where I've manifested my dream home. Using those, you know, this time last year I set the intention. Even though I loved my home, I really loved my home, I just knew that it wasn't a forever home. As we expand our family, I knew that the house would not be big enough. And it didn't have the elements in a home that I really desired to have. So I set the intention, you know, universe, I would really love now to live in my own dream home. I would love to have a detached home with a driveway, with a garage, with a lovely big garden, with a lovely full lounge living room, gorgeous kitchen, 4 bedrooms, master suite, lovely bathroom. Having absolutely no idea how that could ever possibly come to me, how we could ever have the funds to have that such a home. And lo and behold, you know, I visualized it. I felt like it would, how it would feel like. And a few months later, I don't even think it was a few months, I actually think it was a few weeks, my landlord at the time told me that they were selling the house. So it was kind of as scary and worrying as it was at the time. I absolutely knew that this was the universe responding to me. And even though it feels, it kind of, that represents to me how contrast can really lead us to something really, you know, greater, how uncomfortable and painful it can actually feel at times when you're going through this process, but that it's absolutely necessary because just something better is coming on the other side of that. And it's kind of in our most painful and uncomfortable times that we actually get the most growth and expansion out of it. So going through that process, and believe me, so much came up, so much worry, so much stress, not knowing what was going to happen came up, and that was a real test of everything that I'd learned about the law of attraction, and trusting the universe, allowing, relaxing it, letting it flow, and then listening to your inner guidance, because that's the really important part, because that's how your higher self, the universe, kind of works through you and gives you those signs and those nudges as to where to go next. And I trusted and relaxed. We looked at houses, nothing was really gelling, you know, everything was so much more expensive. And I just had to keep coming back to this place of, when it's time to move, the right house is going to come up. Doesn't matter what the budget is, we're going to be able to afford it. It will be fine. We'll be taken care of. The universe has got my back, which has become a mantra of mine. The universe has got my back. It's all safe. And lo and behold, sat there one day when I wasn't giving it any thought, my sister was actually looking at houses for me. And she said, Keeley, look at this house. Wow, if you know, this is the kind of house I would love to go for, but look at the price. It was double what we was actually paying. and it was in an area which was actually only actually 3 streets away from where I was living previously, but it might as well have been in a different world. It was in an estate that I'd always associated with wealthy people equating to snobby, nasty people, because of the experiences I'd had with people living on that estate previously. And so I had a lot of beliefs to clear. I had to go back to all the work I'd done with money and abundance and clear those blocks to, you know, having money is evil, having money turns you into a nasty person. All of these kinds of things that come up that when you say them out loud just sounds so ridiculous. But you have to explore that belief to understand that you had it. It is ridiculous, and you can replace it with something even better. So, you know, money isn't the root of all evil. Money doesn't turn you into a nasty person. Money magnifies who you are. So if you have those traits anyway, money will magnify it. I had to do healings around. I had to go back into my childhood and heal all those memories of the friends who lived here, who had bullied me, who had been nasty to me, and I had to clear all of that. And then, you know, this house came up, and I really didn't think that we would be able to afford this house. But I did a lot of work. I'll be honest, I don't have the best credit rating in the world. I actually did healing around my credit rating, as though, what does it matter? It's just a tick box on a computer screen. Instead of computer says no, computer says yes. It doesn't really matter. Let it go. My credit rating's absolutely fine. It's not a factor. And when the landlord chose us out of lots of couples who had gone for this house because there was so much interest, you know, I really believe my desire and my belief and the healing I'd done around it really gave us this house. Because when the credit rating check was done, my credit rating was fine, and I knew it wasn't, but it was absolutely fine. So computer said yes, you know. I visualize it, you know, the computer says yes, everything's fine. But it didn't stop there, because once I'd got in the house, I had a bigger journey, because I suddenly found a way to start sabotaging myself again. You know, I posted in the group, and I got your great insights on it. It was the upper ceiling limit that I'd hit, and that deep down, I didn't believe that I was worthy of it. I didn't deserve it. How could I possibly live in a place like this? It's not right. And, you know, and I began to sabotage myself and not actually be happy in this dream home that met all the requirements that I'd, you know, the drive, the garage, the garden, the through lounge and dining room, the 4 bedrooms, everything I'd asked for, everything on my tick list, this house was, and the universe had given it to me. And all of a sudden I was there thinking, but I don't deserve this. I can't possibly be happy here. It's going to be taken away from me any minute, you know. So I really hit that upper limit, and had to then relax and adjust myself to the feeling that I am worthy. I do deserve this. And we only ever really get what we deserve, because what we deserve, what we attract, is our dominant vibration, our dominant thoughts and feelings. So I did get what I deserve. We always get what we deserve. And we're worthy just because we are. We are extensions of source energy. We're part of source. So we're all deserving just because we are, because we exist. And I think that's one of our biggest downfalls, is not believing that we are worthy and we are deserving of it. So here we are today, when I've set the intention that I want to show up greater in the world, and I want to share the message of the law of attraction, of how you can consciously create things. You know, those are quite mundane examples, job, house, and what have you. But they are metaphors for how you can consciously create anything you set your heart to. You know, the process really is make a heartfelt desire. You have to be in alignment you know, you have to release any guilt around that desire. Because I've had to work, one of the beliefs I had around money was that money isn't spiritual. It isn't spiritual to have money, because my spirituality is very, very important to me. And I was holding two conflicting beliefs, that money isn't spiritual, but I want to have money. So, you know, I had a lot of healing to do around that. But I want to show people that, you know, you ask, you make a heartfelt desire. The second step in the process, if you follow Abraham Hicks, is it's given. Second step is completely out of our hands. The universe makes it happen. And the third step is we allow it. So we relax, we take it easy, we have fun, we get happy, we follow what feels good, but we follow what feels better, we follow our nudges, we follow our instincts. And we also clear what gets in our path. So, like I said before, when you're visualizing and it starts to bring up resistance, I start to feel maybe a knot in my stomach. I start to hear a little voice that says, no, no, no. And I sit with that. I sit with that feeling. I sit with that thought, and I follow it to get to the root of what that energy is, what that underlying belief is, and I clear it. And it's a constant process. It's a lifelong process, because we'll never have it. We will never have it all. We will never have enough. We'll get to that level. We'll do the healing. We'll do the clearing that takes to get to that level. Then we'll have more desires. We'll do the healing. We'll do the clearing to get to that level, and so on and so on. And that is the way it's meant to be. So, you know, this feeling that I'll be happy when I have that. Well, you're never going to have it all. You're always going to desire more and more. So why not be happy now? You know, it kind of comes full circle when you explore the law of attraction. It all comes back to being happy right now, accepting the right now, accepting yourself, accepting your life doesn't mean nothing will change. Because that is one certainty in life, is that everything will change. It's just about appreciating your life, appreciating you, and going with where life takes you, following your inner guidance to what feels good. So that's my journey with the law of attraction in a nutshell.
In a nutshell, well, you pretty much were reading my mind, because all the questions that were coming to my mind, you answered everything. That's quite amazing. So I'm just going to put myself in the place of some possible viewers that have tried to follow the teachings that you're talking about, the law of attraction, setting a desire, visualizing something, and they feel burned because it hasn't worked for them, and they've tried and whatever they're doing, either it doesn't work for them or they're doing it wrong and they have no idea what to change. What comes up to you to help them?
I think what pops up to me is Abraham Hicks' voice saying, go general. I think we can get so hung up in the specifics of things. We try to control how things are going to happen to us. It's just to let go and be easy, to start appreciating all the things in life. The sun coming up, the world didn't end, the sun came up today. There's a clear blue sky. We have people around us that love us. I think when it feels like it's just really not working, I think you kind of have to leave that issue there. Go general, start looking around, appreciating what you have. And when you are in a better feeling place, to then maybe revisit the issue. I've actually, a very simple example is, if I could be listing out my expenses for the month and thinking, if I'm in kind of like this kind of mood where I've had a bad day, I could sit down and think, I just don't have all the money to pay all these expenses. And then I'll go away, completely forget about it, watch a comedy film, I spend some time with friends, lighten myself up. And when I come back to it, lo and behold, I've got more than enough money. There's always a different way to choose to look at something. And I think sometimes we invest too much in something, we put too much energy in it, and if our energy in approaching something isn't right, then we will only see what's wrong about something. We really need to go away, sort our own energy, sort our own vibration. The best way to do that is to go away, leave it alone, do things that feel fun, do things, laugh, enjoy yourself, and then approach it from a better feeling place. Or even, sometimes for me, it's been a case of, here you go, universe, I don't know what to do with this. I just let go, I release it, please just, you take over. Show me what to do. And lo and behold, little by little, you'll be shown these little steps to deal with these. Sometimes we can see this huge problem, and you have to break it down into little things, peel away the layers. So it's really about letting it be easy. Probably
a lot of trust.
And trust that the universe, I mean, it's such a big lesson. I kind of take that for granted now. Trust in the universe. The universe is always going to give us what we want and what we need. So just relax and trust, go with the flow.
Yeah, and it's kind of hard probably for some people actually to even just hear that. I know I've been there too, but it's something that we have to start learning little by little, that there's nothing that happens by chance. Like you said before, everything that we receive is because we are in that vibrational place and we are broadcasting it. So you're always safe in knowing that whatever you're receiving, it's because you are broadcasting it. And I'm going to ask you, how do you get in touch, or do you have any advice for people to be more aware of how they are feeling, what they are creating? Because sometimes we just go into automatic mode and just live life like almost zombies. We're not aware of what we're doing with our thoughts. We're not aware of how we're feeling.
Yeah.
Any suggestions there?
The number one tip I could give, and there's lots, there's lots of tips, but meditation has been my number one tool. A consistent practice of meditation, even when it feels impossible, even when it's 5 minutes, to quiet all the chatter and all the noise that's going on, so that you can get back, you can kind of almost peel away everything. You can peel away the day, peel away all the stress by just going inwards, connecting with yourself. When I meditate, I connect with my heart space, I connect with the heart chakra. In doing that, I feel like I connect back in with the universe, all that is, because I get such an overwhelming feeling of love. But other than meditation, there's the gratitude practice, to start being aware of count your blessings. How many times have we heard that sentence and we discard it? But it's so important. Count your blessings. You have so many things in your life to be grateful for, and people often focus on the negative. So just a few things a day, just at the end of the day, maybe look back and what have I been grateful for? What's gone right today? Instead of what's gone wrong for me, what's going right for me? And one thing I've come across recently, a technique that you shared actually in the Empowered Love group, was to start to become aware of your thought processes. I actually, when you shared the exercise, I actually see it as, I become aware when I'm doing a task, when I'm cooking or what have you, of all this constant mental chatter that goes on. Some people call it the monkey mind. It's just constant chatter all the time. And it just, when you, in the moment you become aware of yourself doing that, just set an intention to become aware of it, because it always follows intention. If you set the intention, it will happen. So set the intention to become more aware of it. And when I notice myself doing it, I imagine a big computer screen, a really old computer screen, black with green writing on it. And I start to see all my thoughts as these green lines of code coming up on the computer. And all I do is press delete. I see myself pressing delete and all these streams and codes deleting and deleting until I'm left with a blank screen. And I just feel this feeling of peace, so coming over me. And every time there's another thought, delete. you know, and you really start to peel everything away, and you really do start to come back to yourself, become aligned with yourself. Yes, that's a really, really useful technique.
It's so beautiful to hear it mirrored back and your unique way of actually doing it. So love it. And this entire interview has been filled with tips and practices and everything. But just for us to kind of wrap up, is there anything else that you would love to share with people, to whatever comes to your mind, to help them feel that trust, that self-love in themselves, that they can create their lives how they want to live it?
I think the number one thing that comes up for me is, remember that you are the energy that creates worlds. Just let it be easy. Go with the flow and trust that you don't have to wait for somebody else to give you the answers. You don't have to wait for somebody else to show you the path. You know the answers. All you need to do is start to trust yourself again. Start to trust that voice. And if you set out on a path and it's not what you wanted, you can simply course correct. You can simply choose something better. You know, it really doesn't have to be hard. Let it be easy and follow your own guidance.
Yeah, so love that. Such a pleasure interviewing you. So glad we did this. So if people want to contact you, communicate, connect, where can they find you?
Yeah, they can find me on Facebook, on Instagram. I'm in your Empower You Energy Healing group. I would absolutely love to hear other people's stories, from consciously creating, or even when they look back and realise they've unconsciously created, or even if they would like to reach out for some pointers or, you know, some help or guidance. I'd love to hear from people.
Yeah. I'll share the links to your Instagram account and your Facebook also, so that people can reach you more directly if they want to. So everyone, this is our beautiful interview. Again, thank you very much for doing this. This was really such a joy, a pleasure. We could really be talking about this for hours on end. Now, we'll just keep it at this. And I'm sorry, I cut you off. You were going to say something?
No, I could really talk about this all day. There's so much more to say. But, you know, that's it in a nutshell.
Yes. And again, it was really a pleasure. So everyone, if you like this interview, just show it some love, hearts, likes, comments if you have any questions. And if you're watching this anywhere other than on our Facebook Empower You Energy Healing group, just make your way there. It's a beautiful group filled with people that are trying to create their lives in an empowered, deliberate way. And we're filled with beautiful souls like Keeley here. So you'll have lots of good friends and supporters to help you move through your path and get to where you want to be, while at the same time, like Keeley shared, just loving where you are. So everyone, I hope you enjoyed this, and we'll see you on the next interview. Bye.